Yeah.
We really solid defensively against Ohio State. And breaking down the film, I thought our small lineup was really effective. I thought Coleman's didn't have a great shooting night, but his floor play was very good. The stuff he did on the defensive side was great. And then I thought we had nice balance, on the offensive side. We didn't shoot the ball particularly well. We all know that that happens, but I thought we did, Sensabaugh hit some hard shots, Suing hit a couple that almost touched the ceiling with Art to get him over extended hands and contested shots. So, I felt very solid about the defensive effort, and just a tough night shooting that happens. But you get Wisconsin, a team that obviously we've seen before. It's our first repeat opponent. A team that is we obviously saw without Tyler. Tyler's I think missed 2 or 3 games, whatever it was. But he's working his way back in. And you've got to account for him. There's no doubt they were the only team in the league that had 2 first-team All-League guys. He was one of them. So he adds another dimension, another ball handler, another guy who can push it. They've put a siege in the starting lineup. For a freshman, he's as good a freshman shooter as there is in our league. He's an outstanding shooter. You give him a look. And then, Crowell's a guy that hurt us in the first game, but he's got a very significant differential from the 3 at home versus on the road. He's about a 48% three-point shooter at home. He's about a 9% three-point shooter on the road. So we're going to see a guy who makes very comfortable in the Kohl Center. So good basketball team. And and Greg's had to fight through some injuries and different things, and obviously Chucky is having an outstanding year shooting the balls. He's close to 50% from 3. So they're going to do what they do, and you've got to guard post-ups and you got to guard the 3-point line, and we've got to lock in defensively and be solid.
You like what you got out of Jaden in that starting 5, and when you went back and looking something you might look at going forward?
Yeah, it's a different look. It gives opponents a different look because he's a guy that, finds 10 to 12 shots. And, you've got to be very conscientious of where he's at. He missed some looks, but that he normally makes. But, he's a guy that's going to be capable of being a big scorer in his Illinois career. And, he's a guy that, creates space. He's a guy that can beat you off the bounce and get in the paint. And love what he's doing.
I mean, making that move, how did you maybe see that affect what you got from your bench? Just I know you like that scoring. I mean, did you see?
Yeah, it's not as much I think as how that changes. The minute distribution's pretty much the same. I think it's more about just the opponent's game planning, and where they were maybe not guarding Buck as close, and it was shrinking the floor a little bit for some others. Now it opens that floor up for Terrence, for Dane. I like Buck coming in when we got the smaller lineup in. I like playing him more in our 5-out group. So yeah, just a minor tweak, and we'll see if we can create a little more space for not just Jaden, but for others as well.
Maybe the big picture of the last couple of weeks, what's been kind of the biggest change in the defense or kind of improvement on that side of the floor?
We're playing hard. That's been one. We've become much more assignment sound. That comes with maturity, understanding scouting report, accountability, and our mistakes are scouting report mistakes are way down, and that's something that again just comes from experience and having. We had the first Wisconsin game, we probably gave up 20 points in mistakes, and those numbers have been down recently. So yeah, you got to give yourself a chance to win when you don't make mistakes.
Are there any elements of that early season defense that switch it, the press that you would bring back out, or do you guys kind
Sure.
of move past that?
Sure. It's in the vault. You know, we've done it. We know it. We've been able to practice situations in it. You know, is it you know, kind of a situation where you want to rock the boat? Not right now, but you know, you never know when you're going to need it. You never know when that can be of value, and you know, we've got it in the bag.
Brad, you mentioned earlier this week how tough it is going on the road in the Big Ten. What are some of the things to comparing freshmen and newcomers to this team for just the rigors associated with playing on the road?
Yeah, you know, it's everything's got a different atmosphere. We don't make a big deal about it. You know, we talk more about us and the ability to be tough and what it takes to win on the road. You know, I think you win games with offense. I think you win championships with defense. I think you win on the road when you defend and rebound. You know, there's no doubt more teams a lot of teams anyway, are more comfortable at home. So you've got to have a little different edge. And, you know, it's to me, it's when your team is together, when your locker room is tight, you can go in on the road and you can do those things because it's you against the whole building. And that's a mentality you got to have.
Brad, in your victories against high major opponents, it's an average margin victory that's double digits. What does that tell you about how your team can win ball games?
I don't know. That's a good stat. I didn't know that. I just look at the W. You know, I think the one thing is you know, it's you know, Ohio State threw a 3 in at the buzzer. You know, it's probably the other side of that I paid more attention to. Our losses haven't been very close either in some of our games. But, you know, I suppose I should make a bigger deal out of that because it's probably a big value. I know it's not probably, it's a big value in the net. You know, that 10-point line is a swing thing for the net. But I don't know. A win's a win, and you take them, and however you can get them, and whatever the point total is. You know, I don't get too worried about it.
Coach, what's different the second time through the schedule when you've scouted a team and they've scouted you?
Oh, it's a big, you know, it's an opportunity where you're not talking about guys for the first time. You know, now they've lived that experience of, okay, what swing looks like, and what in this case, or what a player looks like, and what his tendencies are. So, you know, just a little more comfort. You still have to go out and do it, and then you watch film, you know, from their last 3 or 4 or 5 games, and you try to pick up and see, okay, they've added this, or they're doing this a little different. And you know, it's easier to make those adjustments when you know what their base is and what they like to do.
Is there something uniquely difficult about playing at Kohl Center?
Court's 94 feet, the rims are 10, the free throw line's 15, to quote Hoosiers. So there's just 17 or 18 or 19,000, I don't know what they see, of fans clad in red, and Andy North will probably be there, and you know, cheering them on. And I don't. It's no different than any other building.
What was Nicolo able to do yesterday, and just what was your impressions of seeing him out there?
Watch. You know, he's. I asked him. I said, "How good's your conditioning?" He said, "Not very." I said, "When was the last time you played?" He said, "It's been 3 weeks to a month." Yeah, I just you know, we'll get a week to 10-day base with Fletch, get him back in some semblance of shape, start getting him in the gym with our coaches, doing individual workouts, and you know, let him you know, not put him out there where he can struggle or, you know, get hurt, or you know. So we'll take our time with that.
I guess obligatory Luke question: is he practicing yet, or
no? He's doing the one-on-one, 2-on-2 individual workout stuff, and then he's got an appointment early next week, mid next week, sometime, that they'll re-X-ray it, I guess, or scan it, whatever they do, to determine, you know, how it's happened, how it's progressed through these workouts, and if everything goes okay, he'll be back in practice.
It's one more about the close games. You guys just gotta have a lot of those. Is there anything unsettling about not being in some of those fire type situations?
Well, I hate losing them by big, you know, but I love winning them like that. Yeah, you know, yeah. I mean, it's You know, every situation's different. Am I realistic? We're gonna have a lot of close games. You know, you're gonna have games that become tight. And you've got to execute. We work on those situations in practice. We prepare for them. You know, I'm of the philosophy that most times in power conferences, 75% of your games are 2 possessions, and it comes about stops and execution. But we just had a strange little flow where our wins have been okay and our losses have been unfortunately too big as well.
And I guess one more about Luke. Is there a point where you guys would say there's just not, like, will you consider a red shirt at all, or is that off the table?
No, I don't. We haven't talked about that yet. I think everything's been, I don't want him thinking about anything other than let's go and let's help us. And, that's been his approach since this injury happened. And, then we'll get back to practice. And, I don't have any question. He's a veteran. He knows what we're doing. His process of getting back into it will be expedited a little bit compared to some of the other new guys.
Holistically, Brad, just what's your thought on a red shirt anymore? I mean, it doesn't seem like it happens as much as it did before, but you've kind of been, with Dane and, with Nicolo and...
Yeah, there's nothing bad ever comes of that. It's always good. You get a year or a semester or whatever it is, academic bonus, to further your education, to get closer to graduation without losing a year of eligibility, to be in practice, to be in the weight room. Fletch lifts those guys a little differently than he does what we do. It's a little more intense, a little more rigorous, and because it is truly about the development side of it. The individual work that you get along with practice and understanding terminology. There's nothing bad to ever come away from a redshirt year, but the mindset with the transfer portal is, it's almost a waste. In some cases, because kids can leave, they've got to really want to be at your school. But I'm a big fan of it. I love it. It's hard to play, 12, 13 guys, 11, 12, 13 guys. So if guys can stay and develop and get better, I'm all for it.
We were actually talking about this a little bit yesterday, but would you like to see basketball have the same type of deal that football has, where they can play a certain number of games and still not lose a year?
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with the football rule. I mean, what is it, 3 or 4? And
third of the year, basically.
I don't know what. I don't know enough about it. Scott, I really haven't thought about it. I think we're in such awkward times now because of all the COVID and the COVID years and the age discrepancies, and I haven't thought about that much. I know redshirt years can be great, and in most cases are great. But I suppose I probably wouldn't hurt.
Dane's had some foul trouble from time to time. How important is keeping him on the floor against this matchup on Saturday?
Yeah, it's always important. Dane's fouls become because he reaches, and it's usually bad positioning and or just being lazy, to be very honest. He's got to move his feet. He's got to do what we call do your work early. Crowell is one of the effective post players in this league. When he gets the ball within 4 or 6 feet, he goes either hand, goes over either shoulder, so it's a tough matchup. And if you stand straight up, he just got pinned the other day. Zed just did a great job of rim running, and he picked up 2 or 3 of his fouls just getting dead behind and then trying to reach. But he's getting better at it. He works at it, and he's got to do a great job. We got great centers in our league.